I'm sorry, Doctor, but we'll need your help in the lab.
Greetings, people. I come in peace. If you've ever watched the Lennox Lewis v Frank Bruno fight for the WBC title, you'll see some similarities between AJ v Dubois. Both British, both from London, in and around the London area, both a fight for a title, both have 2-inch in height discrepancy, AJ being the personification of Lewis and Dubois of Bruno. A really compelling fight to watch. Interestingly, even a lackluster Lennox Lewis managed to beat Frank Bruno. Lennox had more ability as a boxer, like AJ has over Daniel Dubois. Daniel, like Frank Bruno, is strong, a come-forward puncher with a ramrod jab. In that fight, Frank Bruno started how I'd expect Daniel Dubois to start, coming forward, doubling up the jab, moving Lennox back. But unlike Lennox, I'd expect AJ to be more solid, stable and sturdy. Because Lewis, quite honestly, was all over the place and was losing. He didn't look great at all in that fight. I think AJ will be similar to Lewis in the sense of going backwards, using his feet, keeping Dubois at arm's length and trying to walk Dubois onto his right. And when there's an appropriate opening, launch a straight punch salvo. If Lennox threw his punches straight like we know AJ does, Bruno wouldn't have lasted so long. Lennox, for some reason, elected to throw the overhand right against the smaller man and predictably was missing. It was a very unusual display for someone like Lennox Lewis. Apparently, Lennox fell asleep in his dressing room before the fight and woke up lethargic and listless. And it showed. Lennox still got the job done, I think by the 7th round, and I think it was a lot to do with his movement that saved him. He caught Bruno with a long left hook against the run of play, wobbled Frank, and then finished him off. Why I draw comparisons with that fight is Lennox, like AJ, is a boxer puncher. Both won Olympic gold medals and know how to move and employ their jab. And I think that will be crucial, even pivotal, in this fight. Stick and move. Jab, step, shift, maneuver, turn. We saw how a consistent jab and motion affected Dubois when Joe Joyce utilised it in its most primitive form, doing the basics well. And keep in mind, his jab is slower than AJ's. Usyk also disheartened Dubois with his jab. Talking about Usyk, he recently said he doesn't think Dubois is on Joshua's level. Ooh, ouch. This is a man that has been in the ring with both of them recently, so his assumptions have credibility and should be acutely observed. Dubois likes a slugfest, it seems, and in his last 2 fights contended with fighters who like to brawl or stay in the pocket longer than necessary. I don't think he'll get AJ to stand in front of him for too long, not in the early rounds anyway. Unlike Filip Hrgović, who had complete contempt, apathy and disregard for Daniel to his detriment. Hrgović didn't show enough appreciation and respect for what Dubois could endure, cope with and contribute to the affray. As it turns out, Dubois could not only take it, but he could give it. When all is said and done, AJ will throw his right hand quicker, straighter, harder than Filip Hrgović. And if Dubois gets hit like he did against Hrgović, it doesn't bode well for him. Yep, sleeping.
Go to sleep, my baby.
Unless he makes some drastic changes. He was consistently tagged by too many big punches. He still managed to grind away and travail, but Hrgović doesn't hit as hard as Joshua. As we all saw, Triple D was too easy to hit with the right hand, and I'm not sure he can ingrain the habit of moving his head by September. He also flares his elbows when his hands are up, leaving him vulnerable to hooks and straights to the body as well. AJ could be all wrong for Dubois. Yet Dan does have a good jab himself, and when in close has a good array of punches. But since AJ has been in with Usyk, He has added more strings to his bow. He's a more complete fighter, and I think that will make the difference. It might be too soon for Dubois. AJ can throw every punch in the book with aggression, coming forward and going backwards. He's fought 24 rounds trying to outbox the trickiest heavyweight of this era. Wasn't a good idea, mind you, but despite the losses, the experience and the exposure, and because of the participation in that Crusade campaign, it has given AJ priceless experience. His movement is more fluid and sharp, and as we've seen against Hellenius, Wallin, and more explicitly against Ngannou, AJ is a sharp shooter and is punching through the target. The question now is, can Dubois withstand being hit cleanly by AJ? I don't think so. Well, at least not as frequently. Can AJ take Dubois' punches? That's yet to be seen. I don't think AJ will put himself anywhere near the topography, the locale, to be hit by Dan's combinations. He'll stay well away and pick him off from the outside. That's my belief. I think if AJ catches Dubois early with a big shot, Dubois will be more wary, hesitant, and susceptible to the feints, which will lead him into a trap. I don't think Daniel likes to fight going backwards, so AJ will be looking to walk Daniel into his shots. The question is, can Dubois wear down AJ before he gets knocked out? As I've said, AJ has done 24 grueling rounds with Usyk, who was constantly throwing sequences of combinations at different trajectories and angles. AJ was thoroughly harassed by Usyk. He was like a malevolent and spiteful hornet with a potent sting. I think he's ready for anybody after that. Simon Jordan thinks if Dubois lands on AJ, he'll get PTSD. Here we go. Now that's a bit melodramatic. He's a boxer. He's always getting hit. AJ has fought 7 times since that infamous Andy Ruiz loss. And in each of those 7 fights, he's been hit. Kubrat Pulev hit him. Alexander Usyk hit him. In their 2 fights, Jermaine Franklin hit him. Robert Hellenius, Otto Wallin, Francis Ngannou. They all got shots off. They might not have been sustained attacks, but anyone would think that this is the first fight back after losing to Ruiz. I think Simon Jordan makes it up as he goes on. Is Daniel Dubois a one-punch knockout artist at this level? I haven't seen it. He didn't hurt and deter Miller or Herkovich easily. They took his punches. He just outworked them. His last 2 knockouts came by a conglomeration of punches, an accumulative onslaught on a humongous heavy bag, come pressure fighter, and a static lackadaisical Herkovich. They were TKOs, they weren't KOs. And before that, he was stopped by Usyk. And before that, he stopped Kevin Lerena, TKO. Not the type of shot that put Ngannou out, not the type of shot that put Hellenius out. Don't get me wrong, the Miller and Herkovich wins were good wins that definitely refined and cultivated him. But to what extent? Has it prepared him for this moment? Mentally it has, but is he equipped to deal with AJ? We know he doesn't punch as hard as AJ, but if AJ can't take it, it won't really matter, will it? It is heavyweight boxing, and I give Dubois a puncher's chance. 65-35 in AJ's favour all the same. The things Daniel brings is that he's a strong, well-balanced combination puncher and has the ability to keep going. And now he's a title holder, he will do everything in his power to keep hold of it. Daniel is going to be a determined foe, and AJ has got his work cut out. He can't afford to overlook or underestimate Dubois. Daniel is on the ascension and riding the crest of a wave. I think this will be a great fight while it lasts. And good luck to both men. Anyway, thanks for listening. Please subscribe. And remember, choose life